Just landed in Miami and I'm here to check out the second annual Elevate UAV conference put on by DroneNerds. It's a 3-day event where they basically just showcase all the products that they have to offer and all the partners that they work with. So over the next couple of days, I'm gonna be filming this and recording this and putting it out for you guys. Yeah, let's go inside and check it out. So, like I said, we just got off the plane and came straight to the conference. So some of the workroom sessions are already on the way. So that would explain, how empty the main hall is. But before I head into the sessions that I had signed up for, let's just take a look around at some of the products that are out on display. So the first thing we're going to be looking at here is the CZI throwing hook. So this is basically a drop-in mechanism, and this is capable of carrying and releasing 4 different objects independently. And this is designed to be integrated directly into DJI Pilot. So you could actually, there's an interface that comes up on the screen when it's hooked up to a drone, let's say the M300 or the M350, and you could pick which one of the hooks, the carrying hooks that you want to open and release whatever object is hanging onto it. Next up, we have the Mavic 3 Enterprise Thermal. And as you can see, it has 3 cameras in the sensor. It has the 56x hybrid zoom, it has a wide angle camera, and it also has a 640 by 512 thermal camera. Estimated flight time on this model is about 45 minutes, and now, of course, that is ideal conditions. Next on the table, we have the Inspire 3. And if you notice, this one has a FPV camera up top, and that's to enable dual operator. So you have one person that basically is flying the drone. I can see where the drone is going, and you have another operator that is handling the camera at the bottom. And speaking of the camera, this particular camera is a beast, and this is a full frame 8K up to 75 frames per second camera unit. And one of the impressive things about the Inspire is that the cameras that is designed for the Inspire allows you to change the lenses on it. So depending on the type of shot you want to get, you could actually change out the lens that comes with the camera. Of course, that carries up the price, but hey, give and take. Moving on, we have the DJI Agras, the T25 model, which is actually one of their newest models, but also one of their smallest models. And this particular one can carry up to 20 kilograms, or that's around 44 pounds in the spraying tank, or it could also be swapped out from liquid spraying and it could be fitted with a seed spreader. And there's actually a demo of this that we'll get to when we go outside, so stick around for that. Just at the bottom of it is a Mavic 3 multispectral that they have on the desk for display, just for use for scale. But the Mavic 3 multispectral ideally is used for monitoring plant health. Speaking of multispectral sensors, we move on to the next booth, which is Centera. And Centera makes sensors that are specifically tailored to multispectral uses. So these sensors will give you plant health, they measure vegetation density, and they make sensors that could be adapted to multiple drones. So they have sensors for the M300, they have sensors for the Alta X, and they even have a fixed wing solution on display here. That's for mapping out larger areas than what you would want to use a quadcopter for, and it would do it in a shorter space of time. Last but not least, in this section, we have a newcomer to the quadcopter market. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the brand FLIR. They're most popular for thermal cameras. This drone called the Cirrus is FLIR's entry into the quadcopter market. You can see it has 2 sensors on its cameras, a 16 megapixel camera as well as a thermal camera. This camera can actually be swapped off of this drone. I believe that they have plans to develop some additional camera modules for it, but at this time the only one that they have available is the one that is presently fitted on it. This drone is capable of a 31-minute maximum flight time. Of course, again, that is ideal conditions. So now that we've taken a look around, Just going to talk to a couple of the vendors on the showroom floor. And this being a DroneNerds conference, let's start with the DroneNerds booth.
All right, so over here with the green drones, we have the Anzu Robotics drones. We got the Anzu Raptor T, which is their thermal drone, and then the Anzu Raptor, which is their mapping drone. Very similar to the DJI Mavic 3 Enterprise series, similar to the Mavic 3 Thermal and a Mavic 3 Enterprise. That's what we got here. Over here, we've got the Matrice 30T, very commonly used in inspections, in public safety, whether it's fire, police, search and rescue, anything like that. Super popular for those applications. Then the Photo Kite right here, this is one we just onboarded. It's a tethered drone system, so you cannot fly it independently, but it's great for flying long periods of time. If you're doing any kind of overwatch or inspections where you need a long flight time, but you don't need to really move much, that's where the Photo Kite is going to come in handy and be a great fit.
Next up, we're going to head across to the guy from Freefly Systems. And one thing I noticed as I walk around the conference is that the second most popular brand of drones, apart from DJI, is Freefly. You're seeing the Astro being fitted with a lot of different sensors and being used by a lot of the different vendors for whatever, payload they're trying to advertise or get to work or promoting.
My name is Matt Eisenbarger with Freefly Systems. We're here at ElevateUAV today showing off two of our platforms and many payloads. So this is our larger aircraft, Alta X. It can carry 35 pounds or 15 kilos of payload. And then this is Astro, our smaller aircraft that can carry about 6.5 pounds or 3 kilograms. They both have interchangeable payloads, interchangeable radios, interchangeable ground control stations. So very flexible in terms of mission and whatever you need to accomplish that day. This is our Pilot Pro controller that we also design and manufacture with everything else up in Seattle area, Woodinville, Washington. It has a ton of great features. We're showing off the Grimsey VO payload on the display right now. So it's both RGB color camera with 30 times optical zoom and some digital zoom, and then there's also a thermal camera on board as well as a laser rangefinder. So everything's customizable. You can change the view and all of the buttons to whatever your preferences are. We've got a dedicated kill switch with a safety throw. And in addition to the standard manual altitude and position mode and return to home, we also have slow mode, which we introduced to the world, which turns these knobs along the top here on, and that allows you to make very minute adjustments to the speed, the velocities of both the drone vertically, horizontally, as well as the gimbal. So you can imagine for inspection applications or cinematic applications how helpful that possibly could be. We've got a ton of connectivity here on the bottom as well as on the radio. Interchangeable radio modules, so this is an NDA compliant blue listed Doodle Labs radio, but there's several other radio options as well. And then we've got some other payloads here. So this is a Sony LR1. It's a 61 megapixel color camera. And then we have optional attachments. So the two attachments here are a FLIR Boson 640 by 512 radiometric thermal core. And then this is a laser rangefinder. These attach or detach in a minute. And so you can customize the payload kind of based on your needs that day. The Sony here is 61 megapixels, so it's incredibly high resolution, great for mapping, inspection, all sorts of cinematic applications. And then it's on our open source connector. So you'll see all of our payloads use the same connector. Again, it's open source. Anybody can adapt it to their own gimbal, payload, whatever type of thing they want to hang from the drone. It's at no cost to them, and it allows you to then have a bunch of different plug-and-play payloads. So there's about 15 new payloads that we did zero effort on over the last year that have now been possible to plug and play into Astro because other manufacturers like Centera over there have integrated their payload with our connector. This is a LiDAR scanner from a company out of Australia called Emicent. It's called the HoverMap STX. And so it spins around 360 degrees like this, and it's really kind of a unique LiDAR. Most LiDARs are just pointing straight down at the ground and deer, but this one spins around 360 degrees, so it collects data on walls and ceilings, under bridges, things like that, where normal LiDARs wouldn't be able to collect that data. And it also provides a lot of autonomy for Astro. So you can fly Astro. We have a lot of mining customers flying this 2 miles underground, for example, with no GPS, no light. It basically is creating a map in real time on the LiDAR itself as it flies through and figuring out where the obstacles are so it doesn't run into anything, and it's doing it completely autonomously. So we've got about 40 minutes of flight time on this aircraft, 50 minutes of flight time on the larger Alta X. We make our own smart batteries in Woodinville, Washington as well, which are really important for people that are out there like you flying every day. You need these. First of all, we warranty them to be like new for 500 cycles. DJI only gives you 300, so they're just going to last a lot longer. But we also have a nice OLED screen here, so you can see state of charge, voltage, amperage, temperatures, how many times you've charged them. Way more information than you'd ever want to know about this battery. But more importantly, it'll pop up a warning if there's any kind of fault or issue. So it just makes it really easy to manage your batteries that way. And then every aircraft, every Astro comes with a free cloud subscription that's at no cost to you. And so if you have a fleet of these things, you can very easily manage your batteries, your drones, which pilots are flying them, where they're flying. You can even look, on the internet in real time and see the video and telemetry streaming from the drone. Because we also have LTE on board, so you could throw a SIM card from any of the major cell phone providers and stream that data, back to anywhere in the world with internet connectivity.
This next brand is one that's been around for a little while, but may not be familiar to some newcomers, and we head across to the Parrot booth.
On the table here today, I have the ElevateUAV on my right, and the ElevateUSA and ElevateUSA Gov on the left. Basically, for the ElevateUAV, we built and designed this thing for inspection, mapping, construction, things of that nature. Anything on the enterprise side that you want to get high detail, very close up. So it's got a 6x zoom, 48 megapixel half-inch CMOS sensor that actually allows you to get 1 centimeter detail from a 75 meter standoff distance. Natively within the app, we have mapping capabilities, so we can do grid, double grid, and orbit, all without leaving FreeFlight 7. So it just allows easier flight planning, easier mission-capable projects, and allows the user to highly customize what's going on. So that's on FreeFlight 7. That's the ElevateUAV. And then on my left, we have the ElevateUSA. So this was basically built and designed for the Short Range Reconnaissance Program for the U.S. Army. That's how we got the stamp of approval for the DIU, made NDATA compliance. NDATA compliance is separate. We made it to be NDATA compliant, but we got that stamp of approval. We are one of the original 5s on that DIU blue list. So you have us, Skydio, Teal, Vantage. There was one other, maybe Fleer. I'm not sure. But yes, that was designed for the Tranche 1 program. So basically they came out with a list and said, meet these specifications for rapid deployment, short range reconnaissance. Just get it up in the air, connection time 55 seconds, 221 megapixel cameras on board the aircraft. It allows for a 32 times zoom, and you can see a human-sized object from about 1.2 miles away. So the two sides of the table, one's inspection-based, one's more public safety, DoD, things of that nature. So, yeah.
And last but not least, before we head outside, just going to pop by the guys from Dragonfly to get a rundown on the products that they have on display.
All right, I'm Chris from Dragonfly. We're here today at ElevateUAV in beautiful Miami, Florida, and we're just showing off some of our latest offerings here from Dragonfly. So a few of the platforms we have are the Commander 3 XL. On board the Commander 3 XL, we have our 4 payload dropper system. It's got 4 separate plates here on the bottom. You can go ahead and drop different payloads. We've also got our Gremsy Bio here. So perfect for any type of application you could possibly need where you need to get supplies to and from a particular place and you need maximum visibility with that Gremsy payload. We were also showing off our UXV ground station. So UXV, fantastic platform. This integrates using a Doodle Labs comm. We're able to broadcast and transmit signals to and from the drone from anywhere between 60 and 80 kilometers or roughly 30 to 40 miles, I believe is the conversion there. Don't quote me. Next up here, we have one of our newer drones. This is the Commander Apex. So this is a brand new drone, about 2.5 months old. It's perfect for ISR. It's quickly deployed. And what's great about it is if you love our Commander system, you're gonna love this because it's essentially operating off of the same system, the same hardware, all of the same frequencies. It's just in a smaller, more deployable format. So super excited to be unveiling this here in the United States for one of the very first times and talk with the folks here in ElevateUAV about it. Our last piece of equipment here is our Flex FPV system. So this is a really cool design because we've got the ability to swap between different size drones. So right now we have our 7-inch configuration, which we're demoing here at ElevateUAV, but let's say we want something that can carry a little bit of a heavier payload. It's just as simple as undoing one of these screws on the bottom plate, And once we've got this sort of where we want it, we can pull it out of there. Use our patented grip design, pull the arm out. Let's say we want to run a 13-inch configuration. It's just as simple as sliding this down into the body of the drone. We would put that screw back in, and now we've got a 13-inch configuration as opposed to a 7-inch configuration. So really flexible design, capable of many, many different payload capacities. Our 4-inch is capable of around 300 grams. Our 7-inch is around 2 kilos. Our 10-inch is around 3 kilos, and our 13-inch is around 4 to 5 kilos. So extremely adaptable, extremely useful for just about any integration you could possibly want. If you want more information, feel free to go to our website, dragonfly.com.
Right, so now that we're outside, we're going to check out some of the demos that we have going on the two fields outside. And first up, we have the guys from a brand called IdeaForge, and they're going to be demoing their VTOL unit called the Switch. So basically it takes off and lands like a drone, but it flies like an airplane. This particular model, the Switch, has a max flight time of 120 minutes. It has a 10-mile operating range, and they have 2 camera options for it.
We're transitioning right now to our takeoff approach. This is our Switch VTOL UAV by IdeaForge.
Walking around the conference, you come across this guy a couple of times, and this is one of the stars of the conference. And talking to the guys that's operating it, you wouldn't believe the price of this. I thought like these things would be very, very expensive, but this particular unit, I was told, is priced under 3,000 US. Moving on to one of the other displays now, we have the photo kite that was mentioned earlier, the DroneNerds booth. And this unit is rated, it's a tethered unit, and is rated for 24 hours continuous flight. When talking to the guy that was operating it, they said it stayed in the air during testing for 37 days continuously. And that is incredible. Everything is being controlled from this tablet unit over here, and the drone can take off and land autonomously, and the camera could also be controlled from the tablet. Another tether system that is on display is the tether system from Volarius, and this tether is approximately 70 meters, that's about 230 feet long, and as you can see, it is connected to the DJI M30, and this system is actually integrated into the drone's controller. So there's a separate app on the controller that you could use to manage auto takeoff and landing. And they have versions of this that works with other drones as well as other models of DJI drones, so like the M300 and the M350. The DJI Dock 2 was also on display, and this is a weatherproof drone in a box solution, and this has sensors to monitor the environment outside of the box when it's in use. So we're talking, you could check the rain, you could monitor the wind speed, you could check the outside temperature, and you could control this. You could control the drone that is inside this box from anywhere once the dock has connectivity, so power and an internet connection. You could control it on a laptop from anywhere. The Dock 2 has 2 drones that have been adapted for its use, and they're based on the Mavic 3 platform that I showed earlier. It has the Matrice 3D, which is ideal for mapping, and it has a zoom camera and a wide angle camera. And then it has the Matrice 3TD, which has the same cameras as the 3D, but also adds the thermal capabilities. So that's where the T in the name came from. So now we're going to go to a demo of one of the big boys on display. So this is the Autel Dragonfish. This is the standard version. There's supposed to be 3 versions of this. There's a light, there's a standard, and the biggest one is a pro. You're looking at 120 minutes flight time, 18-mile range, and this has a 4K sensor with 50 times optical zoom. I was trying to get some recordings here of the screen so you could see the quality on it, but the glare was killing me. But believe me when I tell you, the quality on the sensor was amazing. And this is another VTOL. This is Autel's first entry into the VTOL market was the Dragonfish standard, and then they brought out the light and the pro versions.
That's a dragonfish.
And last but not least, the star of the conference, the demo that brought everybody out from where they were when it came out to be demoed. I'm talking about the DJI FlyCart 30. And let me tell you, as big as this thing looks in pictures and videos, it is bigger. This is one massive drone. And there's no video that I've seen, nor I'm seeing it in person, that does the size of this drone any kind of justice. So this is DJI's first heavy lifter. It has a max payload of 30 kilograms, or about 66 pounds when you're using it with dual batteries, or a max payload of 40 kilograms or around 88 pounds if you use it using it with a single battery. Right now you're looking at it in its configuration with the winch system, which is about 20 meters or about 65 feet long. It also has a box that you can put items in that fits just under the drone, and then you can fly the drone over to a different location, land it, and somebody can open the box and take all the contents of inside. And flying has a max speed of about 44 miles per hour or 20 meters a second, and even with load, this thing moves. As you can see here, they're carrying it using different weights at the bottom. So the first case I think was about 40 pounds, then they went up to about 50 pounds, and they even give our friend here, the robot dog, a little ride around for him and all to experience the FlyCart. The only thing I wish I could have captured here was a better sound capture of how this thing sounds when it is taken off, because it is incredible to hear. It's one of the most intimidating sounding drones I've ever experienced. Yeah, but that's my wrap up of the conference. I hope you guys enjoyed the footage, and see you in the next video. Take care.